25 minutes. We gotta go.
Ew. Happy Wednesday,
Happy
guys.
Wednesday, everyone. Super excited to have you all with us today. It's a good day. It's a good day.
Update.
If this is your first time with us in Say That Nation, we just want to say welcome. We're super excited to have you with us here in Say That Nation, Say That channel, excuse me. We are unapologetic about talking about the ugly come up in entrepreneurship and business. So we all hear the stories about how there was somebody who started from nothing and then has massive success, right? But what happens in the middle? What happens during the ugly come up? Well, that's what we're here to talk about. What's the mindset? What are the dollars and cents we need to understand? Who are the people we need to be partnering with? All of that. And I love the format of what we do because we have a topic question of the day, and then we have 25 minutes to answer the topic question of the day. And most recently in our series, we've been looking to experts. So other people in the area of entrepreneurship, other creators, other thought leaders and things like that when it comes to the different questions that you guys have been bringing to us. So I'm really excited because today's going to be a good day.
Yeah, today's definitely going to be a good one, guys. So let's jump into today's topic and get after it. Today's topic, guys, is...
how much money should we have in the bank?
She ain't got no money in the bank.
I was thinking the same thing. She ain't got no money.
That comes to mind. Guys, throw your answers in the chat. Let's throw some numbers out there.
Yes, how much money? Put the numbers in the chat. You know, it's funny. So as we were thinking about this particular topic, I was thinking to myself, such a good question. And my mind immediately went to, well, you know, you want to spend 10% of your income on like personal development about your own mindset and your own growth. Yeah. You want to spend maybe 20% of, and then this is like if you're a full entrepreneur, maybe 20% of what you bring in, you want to put back into your company, maybe even 25%, maybe even more. Like the more you put in, typically the faster it grows. And then you just have like your bills and everything, right? So I don't know. So then I was thinking maybe it's not an amount, maybe it's like a percentage. Like,
yeah, I would definitely go. Percentages are wiser considering you never know if your income may change. Obviously, a variable if you're making more. You don't want to maybe keep the amount that you're saving at a set amount because you have to account for the fact that now your lifestyle has increased, so your savings should increase as well. So I've actually, go ahead, Jay.
You're looking at this. Well, I was going to say, so if I had to say a percentage, I would say monthly, you should save 10% monthly of whatever you bring in. So if you're working a job, if you're a full-time entrepreneur, I feel like 10% sounds like, based on a lot of different things that Winston and I have participated in and gone to, 10% feels right.
I love that. All right. So this essentially to me is a question of what is your budget like? So, you know, essentially of the money that you're taking in, how do you break it down to Janelle's point, to account for the different things you may have: rent, you know, a mortgage, a car note, things like that. So for me, I've actually written the numbers out. So out of 100% of your net income, so this is money that you get after taxes, I actually have that 35% should go to savings and investing, because there are obviously some savings options that can actually also be investments like bonds and things like that. So 35% of your net income. Then the next 35% goes to rent or mortgage. 25% goes to food and drink, anything that falls under that umbrella of, you know, going out, dates, things like that. The next 20% covers your travel, subscriptions, and things like clothing. And then the 19%, and this is where some people can play around, is essentially for like car, Ubers, any type of travel. So now that also covers flights and things like that. And if you break your income down like that, for many people, you're not traveling every month, so you just move that savings into the pot that Janelle talked about, which is money that you can put now to go have fun and do different things that you'd want to do.
I love your way of the breakdown. That sounds great.
Yeah, so
I go with what Winston said.
I don't know, to your point though, to the question of how much to keep in the bank.
Yeah,
that is a very interesting question, because obviously many people have seen what's happened in a couple months back where the banks out in Silicon Valley, people had their money in the bank and couldn't get access to it. So I
Yeah.
think if you look at if you look at the question in terms of situations like that, I honestly don't know what to tell people. You know, it's kind of scary to think that you could have hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank and not be able to use it, you know, or gain access to it. And the bank only covers you for up to 150,000. So
Yeah. So maybe the question is actually more basic. How much money should you have in the bank, like a bank at all?
at all, exactly.
Versus it's invested, it's here, it's there, it's wherever.
If you're a millionaire, I don't think you're breaking it down into $1.50 across a multitude of banks. I think that'd be a lot of, you know, too much to deal with. So I know there obviously some other people who are at this stage in their careers having to, like the term we like to use now, have the opportunity to see behind the curtain, and they can shed some light and some insight into to this question. So let's jump into what these guys from Earn Your Leisure have to say, Jay.
Yes.
You said something that was interesting. You said that he told you had more cash than somebody that's worth $10 million.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that. But first, what did you invest in? Like the S&P 500? You said you invest in safe
No,
stuff.
I invested in like a lot of things alongside him. Like, I don't know, can we say something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
like Whoop, FaZe Clan.
Oh, so you just started, you just went straight to to investing in
straight
companies.
to like
privates.
Bitcoin. I invested in Bitcoin.
Forget
At
the
time.
stock
It was
market. You
like,
just went straight to the big leagues.
straight to investing. At the time, I think I invested in Bitcoin like $6,000, like a bio company, like just a bunch of stuff spread out. Like,
so this is like one of these weird movies. You meet a random white guy at Meek Mill's party that's high. He takes your watch. 3 days later, he invites you to his penthouse in Manhattan. You open the door. It's like the Batmobile chamber. And then he looks at your portfolio and he's like, this isn't what you should be doing. You should be investing. And then he tells you to invest in FaZe Clan, Bitcoin, all of these, just all kinds of just random things that just skyrocket.
Shout out to Whoop.
And you're like, yeah, this is like what Eddie Murphy could have been in Trading Places.
Yeah.
Basically, that's a fact. That is
Exactly
a
that.
fact.
And then he
Similar.
came with the blessing of Dave.
Yeah.
Because Mike is, you know, but Dave kind of like, they both keep me kind of like, Mike is like, shh, and Dave is like, no, come back down here real quick. But Dave is also like a super risk taker. So I feel like Dave balances out me and Mike. You know what I'm saying? And like, he's great at investing. He'll tell his story.
Yeah.
So like, my mindset on investing just kept growing and growing and growing. But the one thing I learned from both of them is just take a fucking risk and don't be scared and don't think about the risk after. And
How
if
much
the reward comes back?
How much of that money did you invest?
I think maybe all of it.
1.2 off the table.
Do you have $1.2 million to your name?
Right now?
No, at that moment.
Yeah.
You had that to your name.
Yeah.
He comes and says,
And a watch.
He comes, you just meet up and he says, invest. You should, and you invest every single thing you have.
Everything. That's how I always
But
been.
listen, to some degree, because Mel was lucky enough or smart enough to have a good income. So he was making money from his
so I was
business.
making money.
Still making money.
So I knew if I
So he
I
wasn't
lost
burdened.
all that money, like I would make it back in a year.
All right.
He wasn't burning furniture.
Yeah.
Right? Like this was
he
taking
wasn't
risks.
have to sell.
It wasn't
like,
his retirement.
Yeah.
So, Mike, you said 10 guys with 10 million don't have that much money in cash. How much money should a person have in cash?
Again, so much depends on how old you are, what your lifestyle is, and what your income is. Right. So if you have no income, like you retire, you better have a bunch of cash because you got to pay your rent, you got to pay your car bill, you got to have incidental expenses. But if you know you're making $100,000 a month, right, you pretty much can cover anything you need to deal with. So you can really run your investment portfolio with low cash and high risk.
Yeah.
And so much against your personal risk tolerance and your opportunity set. What I realized, and one of the things that I wanted to kind of experiment with in some ways. I mean, it wasn't a mental experiment, but there's not a ton of black wealth, period, right? 13% of the population, 1.5% of the wealth in this country. Until that changes, our country's kind of broken. And one of the ways you create wealth is network. right? Mel is a stunningly good networker. You put him in any room and everyone likes him. I don't know if it's his big smile or dopey face. I don't know. And so,
good energy.
He went to the Milken conference. Next thing you know, he's going to Saudi Arabia. He's in the Mideast, and he's friends with everybody. He met you guys, right? So that ability to network. Well, if you grow up in a bad zip code, you're networking with, people that aren't creating a lot of wealth. You put him in a room with wealth creators, he's going to network and get opportunities. And so now he's bringing more opportunities to Dave and I than we're bringing to him. And so a little bit is guidance, a little bit is just introducing people to the networks of money, right? How do you raise capital? How do you find ideas? How do you use your political connections to get stuff done? All of that process that lots of people that don't grow up with that never have access to. And that's a little bit the idea of the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. So we got your story.
Yeah.
We got Mike's story. Dave, we got to get your story. So I know you said Columbia.
Yeah.
But your background is in developing real estate, correct?
Primarily, yeah.
So explain to the people how you've come to prowess at this level.
Yeah, you got it. So I went to Columbia. I was a wrestler there. That was a big part of my life. I went to law school afterwards to Georgetown, and actually passed the bar in New York, New Jersey, and practiced law for about 3 years in New York. And learned what I had to from that. I think it was a really good base for understanding contracts, how to communicate clearly and things like that. And from that, went with my brother into real estate in the, let's say, like early mid 90s. My father had done development of affordable housing kind of real estate. So I was schooled, had a little bit of background in it, and understood some things, and that was a really good time to start investing in real estate back. That was one of those times like we're almost in now. So we started with apartments in North Jersey, moved from there to the city. We got into hotels in, say, early 2000s, W Standard, Chiltern Firehouse came after that. And really at that point in time, as I started broadening my investments, started looking into technology, other food and beverage and hospitality platforms, biotech at this point in time, mushrooms, crypto. And so like, in a sense, I've been entrepreneurial the whole time, and have really, I know you guys had Steve Harvey on once, and I watched the thing, and he had like these 5 rules, and I thought they were pretty interesting, right? I think you had said something about it, and it was dream big, have imagination,
be grateful,
gratitude, right? Don't fear, control your fear, and then have faith that it's going to work out. And I think that's really what entrepreneurism is about. And that's really how I've been living my life, in a sense, in a business sense, of like pushing into things, even when I was uncomfortable, using, I didn't use exactly those 5 mantras, but essentially effectively doing that. And so that's what really allowed me to push in and just bring so many opportunities, So when I got involved with, for instance, Catch with Mark and Eugene, and one of their kind of like founding investors in that, it was really because I'd put them in an opportunity earlier in the W Hotel before they had started. And so it's that kind of thing that's always served me well in life. Same thing with Mel and many people, Mike and I, and we just kind of create this network. And so I guess it's real estate would be a big portion of what I do and what I focus on, but I do have a bunch of other venture investments that I also pursue.
Yeah, I want to personally thank you for Catch. It's my favorite restaurant. It's my kid's favorite restaurant.
Yeah, I heard you say that.
And, like when I left here today, my kid was like, I said, "What do you want to do today?" She's like, "Can we go to Catch?" I was like, interested enough. I might know a guy.
we can get you a table.
Well, that's all kudos and gratitude to Eugene Ram and Mark Birnbaum, because it was really their entire brainchild and execution. But I was happy to be a part of it.
So this is how Larry gets hooked up with Catch?
Yeah. I hooked him up with Catch.
Okay.
Yeah, because when the first time I met Larry, excuse me, we started talking. He started talking about restaurants, and I just happened to drop that name, and he was like, "Oh, that's my favorite restaurant."
That was so good.
And then I was like, "Oh, I can't."
All right, guys.
Yeah, we had dinner in my house.
Follow their channel, and we'll make sure we'll link it at the end. You can see the entire interview that they had with those gentlemen.
Yeah.
I love it.
This was such a good conversation. I think for me, number one, like it goes back to the percentages that you were talking about, right? Because we like it depends on your lifestyle, depends on, you know, your income, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I also noted that he said, you know, if you have $100,000 a month, then like all of your expenses are being taken care of.
Yeah.
And I was like, those people, I want to be in a room with those people who are making $100,000 a month and make it seem like that's
normal income.
Yeah. So that was number one I thought of. And then we've been saying this, but to hear these guys say the thing about the networking, like take anybody out of whatever circumstance they currently were born into, let's say, put them into a group of people who have more or have access to information or even ways of being, right? And like everything, like it shifts, like your mindset shifts, you start doing things differently.
Well, you know, it's interesting because it's definitely one of the things that is a skill I know that attracted us, or something that we started to get better at through network marketing. But it made me think of, there's a guy that I work out with, and it made me think of him because he's that kind of guy. He may have had some challenges, you know, growing up and, you know, had difficulties in some sense, but this is the type of guy that I know if he was put in a room with around wealth, he has the type of, like energy that you would want to be around, you know what I mean? And he's not necessarily shy about communication and things like that. And that's a skill that can go so far. It's just necessarily to your point about just being, getting access to that room. And you never know, guys, who you know. You never know who someone knows, because I can only imagine what the story is like about how they actually met at that party that he was saying.
Yeah.
Like I wonder what the conversation was about that led him, or how he even came to have the 1.2 million that he invested.
Right. It sounds like he had his own business and the business was doing well. But
he risked, in some sense, invested all of that money.
Right.
Where many of us, we would get it and we'd be so afraid of not getting it again.
Right.
We wouldn't take that chance. And he's obviously turned it into a lot more success. So, you know, kudos to them.
Scared money doesn't make any money. I remember hearing that phrase and I was like, whoo, that hurt. Scared money makes no money. I've been scared about money. I don't know. That means I'm not making any. I did see there is a comment about online banking compared to regular banking. Thanks, Raymond. I don't necessarily. There are pros and cons to probably both. And when you say regular bank, you mean like brick and mortar, like a Chase, like you could go into a Chase branch and
like a physical location.
Versus like Ally Bank. Ally Bank is purely in
digital.
It does, there's no, you can't go to an Ally branch. And there's positives and negatives to both of those things. Maybe that's like a good idea for another show. But I think it gets really personal. It's really about like what you're looking for. And I know a lot of people are going towards digital banks because they don't ever walk into a bank and they're paying a lot of fees.
How many of us are paying? I mean, we're tap paying with our phones, with everything. So you're not really holding on to cash. But again, it's to the point that we were making. And granted, they didn't really get into this on EYL, but we were talking about going to, that what happened in Silicon Valley and those banks not giving those people their money.
Right.
That could obviously happen digitally where, you go on your line, and I've seen, you can look this up yourself. There are people who go into their account expecting a certain amount and the money is not there.
Right.
And the bank is like, again, it's all ones and zeros. So.
Right.
Exactly
of course, crypto is, or I should say blockchain, it was supposed to be a way in which to
answer to this.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see where that goes. I still think that there's promise for it because the main idea behind blockchain, or like the white paper for blockchain, is still sound. It's just
it's a great idea.
It's the humans behind it. Yeah.
I think especially now with the integration of AI, I think AI is going to probably play a huge role in kind of creating some more faith in that, because I think, to your point, there's this sense of humans would kind of mess this up. But I think if it was an autonomous thing where we were just kind of programming the machine to do what's best for obviously the value of the chain and the security of it, then, we'd have some control there. So, you guys weigh in the comments, guys. Let us know.
Yeah, let us know
what you guys think, your thoughts. And while we're waiting for you guys, I just want to take this opportunity. We have the author herself. She's actually going to be hosting. Hey, and I'll let you take it away from here, Janelle.
Yes. So we're talking about money in the bank. But I think mindset rules this, right? Like how you think about money and how you think about yourself in relationship to money will have a huge impact as to exactly how much money you are making and potentially how much money is in the bank. So I'm hosting a free 4 steps to a 6-figure mindset masterclass. This is excellent before the holiday season, because before you know it's going to be the holidays and people are spending money here, there, and everywhere. And you want to make sure you get the mindset before January 1st, because if you wait until January 1st, it's already too late. You got to make sure that we get on this now. So it is Tuesday, September 26th. 7:30 Eastern. If you're on the West Coast, that would be 4:30 in the afternoon for you. Our Central time folks, that's 6:30, of course. And so we'll have the link so that way you can register. I would love to see as many of you there. I feel very, very passionately about helping people get their mindset right, because if you don't have that right first, nothing else will come of it. All of your dreams, all of your goals, any purpose or calling that you have in life, if we don't get your mindset like straight, then nothing else will come of that. And so I'm all about helping people live their life to the fullest, where they get to live out their dreams, their goals, their calling, and their purpose. I really want you guys to unleash your authenticity to be able to do that. So I'm really excited to invite you all to that.
And that's the link, right, Jay? Did I get that correct?
Yes, that's the link right there.
All right, perfect. All right, guys. So definitely go register. Free opportunity to get some wisdom. All right. Anyone want to add anything else before we go? Oh, I love that. Say that, Janelle.
It's true. It's so true. All right. I also just put the link in the comments, so you have that as well. But if there's nothing else, we can't wait to see you guys next week or on Monday. We had a really good show on Monday, so definitely check out the Monday rundown for that one. There were a lot of percolating feelings and thoughts about Monday's show.
Yeah, definitely go make sure you guys check out the Monday rundowns and some other episodes there. Definitely a lot of fun there, especially the topic, what we get to talk about.
Awesome.
All right, so let's close it out. As always, remember, you deserve the good life. Say that. We'll see you guys.
Peace.